Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. YouTube continues to tell me that about 70% of my audience is not subscribed, so if that's you, enjoy this content, if you could just take 1 second and hit that subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. And then don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night. Last night, again, we nailed it with Zach LaVine, putting up a 50-plus spot at that salary was treated you well on DraftKings, and once again, the lock of the night ended with that fire emblem next to his name on DraftKings, which is the goal every single time out. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. Going to give you my lock of the night, the guy that I'm most likely to lock in all of my lineups. It could be upper tier, low tier, mid tier, depending upon the slate. And been on a roll with those recently after a little bit of a cold streak, so back on the grind. Love it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this one today. First game on the slate, we got Philadelphia taking on Dallas. This game right now comes in with a 223.5 over-under with a 3.5 point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. And definitely going to be, somewhat of a mid-paced game as far as the slate's concerned, but there are some really good usage-dominant guys in this game, specifically Luka Doncic and Joel Embiid at 10-7 and 10-1. Both these guys, we know what they're capable of on a per-minute basis. The only issue that I'm having right now is the fact that Kristaps Porzingis is playing, and that's going to take away some usage from Luka Doncic. And then as far as Joel Embiid's concerned, Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons are are in. They don't really concern me as much when it comes to Joel Embiid, though. I will say, this guy's going to get his no matter what, and I really like this matchup against Dallas, so I do think that Joel Embiid is definitely a very intriguing option on the slate today. And as I said, Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris are questionable. It's really only Tobias Harris that's questionable. But they're saying he's no longer on the injury report ahead of Monday's game. And he should be good to go. So you expect him to be in, not a huge usage bump to go around for a guy like a Joel Embiid or a Ben Simmons with him in. But I definitely do like Joel Embiid the most. Tobias Harris would be my second option. Ben Simmons my third. And then as far as pay down options on this team, Seth Curry, my favorite option, taking on his former team in this Dallas Mavericks team, and really can shoot the ball from behind the arc. If you don't know by now, this guy is an absolute dead shooter from behind the three-point arc, so I love targeting him when I can. Consistently playing mid-20s to upper 30 minutes. Hasn't had a big game in a really long time, but we're just waiting on that game where he gets hot and shoots from behind the arc. And I think this could be the one because Dallas does not scare me defensively, so definitely going to be playing some of him. And then, like I said, Kristaps Porzingis is the only other one I'm really looking to on the Dallas side, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. Those are the three I kind of look to play every single time out with this Dallas squad right now. Kristaps Porzingis putting up 43, 55, and 59 DraftKings points the last 3 times out. So being definitely productive on the minutes he's getting. And then Tim Hardaway Jr., a guy that we were seeing an increase in minutes for quite some time there, priced at $5K. Recently only playing 22 and 21 minutes, so I think that the large run of Tim Hardaway Jr. might be getting kind of swept under the rug, and they're going to spread this rotation a little more thin than we were seeing there for a short period of time, so I can't really promote him anymore as much as I was. The Los Angeles Lakers taking on the New York Knicks, second game on the slate. This game right now comes in with a 205.5 over-under with a 3-point spread in favor of the New York Knicks, so expected to be really slow paced, not exactly a fantasy-friendly environment. Not really sure that I'm going to be looking to a whole lot of guys in this particular spot. Kyle Kuzma is listed as questionable. If he continues to be out, look for Taylor Horton-Tucker and Markieff Morris to see big bumps in usage. And specifically, Taylor Horton-Tucker is a guy that I really like if he's getting a lot of opportunity. Last time out, playing 34 minutes, putting up 40 DraftKings points. That's what this guy's capable of if he can just get some runs. So if there is no Kyle Kuzma, I'm really going to like Taylor Horton-Tucker for sure. Andre Drummond continues to be back now at 6'8" as far as his minutes and his runs concerned. The last few times out, he's only been playing 22, 27 minutes. He does get you there real quick, though, and this is a guy that we're used to paying up for $8K when he was on other teams. Now he's all the way down to 6'8", so I have no issues with playing Andre Drummond whatsoever. He can get you there real quick. This guy's an absolute rebounding machine. And then Montrezl Harrell at 5'7". I also don't have an issue with off the bench. This guy is also a fantasy point per minute beast, and he comes off the bench, he gets all the usage. Starting to get a little scared with Andre Drummond around, but he is continuing to see his price tag fall. He was up to 6'2", now he's down to 5'7". I do think that he's a viable play. And then on the New York side, it's really simple for me. I'm playing Julius Randle. I'm playing RJ Barrett. I'm not really getting cute with anyone past them. Sure, you could, but these are the two guys that are really playing a lot of minutes and getting the usage. Everyone else, the minutes are being spread pretty thin. And not even in a good up-tempo, fast-paced game. I have a hard time really going to anyone outside of them. You could play a Reggie Bullock down here at 4-3 if you want a good three-point shooter that can get hot, but in general is very, very shooting reliant. And not going to have a ton of interest in him on a 9-game slate. San Antonio taking on Orlando. This game right now comes in with a 219.5 over-under with a 5.5 point spread in favor of the San Antonio Spurs. So, once again, not exactly a great paced game. As far as who we're looking to in this one, Otto Porter Jr. is listed as questionable. Okeke is listed as questionable. If both those guys are out, obviously that's going to give a bump up to these guys in the Orlando rotation. If they're both in, I'm going to like Orlando a lot less. But Terrence Ross, Wendell Carter Jr., the top 2 dogs on the Orlando side, the real leaders of the team and the best fantasy point per minute producers. So they're the ones I'm really looking to. Last time out, didn't have a big game, but that's because they got blown out by Milwaukee. And they're expected to keep this game close. So specifically, these 2 guys would be my 2 favorite options, Wendell Carter Jr. and Terrence Ross. And I do think that they're going to be the ones that have to keep this game close. So, I mean, Terrence Ross would be my favorite by far at 6'6", like him. And then on the San Antonio side, DeMar DeRozan and DeJounte Murray continue to be the top options, but they are priced up accordingly. I mean, DeMar DeRozan putting up around 50 DraftKings points the last 2 times out at 7-8. You're going to be really happy with that, I will say. So I have no issues with going back to him. DeJounte Murray, I have no issues with going back to. And then as far as my favorite option for salary relief, it would be Derek White at 6'5", even though he's not really cheap. He's the next guy in this San Antonio rotation that I feel really confident with playing a lot of minutes and can get you there. And as well as Keldon Johnson, but Keldon Johnson's a little bit more versatile in his minutes, depending upon how he's playing. He might play mid-30s. He might play like 25 minutes. That's just how Pop's been kind of treating him. So I have no issues with him in tournaments, but cash games, a little bit scary to be going there. And then this next game is going to be a great one. Great fantasy point environment. Brooklyn taking on Minnesota. Excited to talk about it. Karl-Anthony Towns up here at 10-5. This game right now comes in with a 236.5 over-under with a 7.5 point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. There's expected to be no James Harden, no Kyrie Irving, which means Kevin Durant is going to be a great play at 9K, depending upon if we're going to see his minutes really start to climb. And keeping an eye on his minutes the last few games, we've seen 19 minutes and 24 minutes. Keeping in mind both of those games turned into a blowout, he returned on the 7th of April, so whether he can really be a full run here is to be determined, but that's kind of a big deal. I mean, Minnesota's a great matchup regardless, so this guy's in a great spot. Really like him. It just depends on if he's on a minutes limit. We're going to have to keep an eye on that news, but overall right now I'm going to say I really like him unless we get news that he's going to be limited to like, I mean, even if the guy's limited to like 30 minutes, he can get you there real quick at 9K taking on this Minnesota squad with no James Harden and no Kyrie Irving. I have no issues with that. Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and DeAndre Russell on the other side. There continues to be no Malik Beasley, so really going to like all these guys. Cat continues to really beast and feast. Was priced up to 10-8. I was starting to get a little worried. Now he's at 10-5. I'm a lot more comfortable with paying that price tag. Even though it's only $300, it does make a big difference. Like him a lot. Anthony Edwards, DeAndre Russell, 7-5 and 6-6. Really going to like both of these guys. No Malik Beasley. Expect them to get a lot of minutes. Anthony Edwards playing a lot of minutes. DeAndre Russell continues to see his minutes on the rise since returning from injury. And he gets to take on his former team in Brooklyn. He's played 24, 29, and 26 minutes the last 3 times out. I tend to think he could play up to 30, and if he does at 6'6", that's just too cheap for DeAndre Russell and his production, so going to like him a lot. Joe Harris at 5'6". There is no Kyrie Irving. There is no James Harden, as mentioned, so he's going to get a big bump up in usage and definitely going to have a lot of interest in Joe Harris in this one. And then Bruce Brown and Blake Griffin. There's expected to be no LaMarcus Aldridge, so going to like these guys quite a bit as well. Bruce Brown, another guard position. And then you got Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. Blake Griffin being my favorite of the two at 4.5. I think he gets more minutes, more production. And then as far as DeAndre Jordan's concerned, at 4K, maybe they use him to guard Cat, but I have a feeling they're just going to probably keep Blake Griffin on the floor. DeAndre Jordan's been really limited in his minutes as of late, so it's a little scary going there for me. That's what I'd be looking to in that one. Washington taking on Utah. This game comes in right now with a 235 over-under with a 12.5 point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. Expected to be a blowout, and Utah is expected to run away with this one fairly easily. As far as who I'm looking to in this one, Bradley Beal is listed as questionable. Mike Conley's out. Jordan Clarkson's listed as questionable as well. With Mike Conley being out, that's definitely going to increase some usage. Bradley Beal's latest update is that he is probable, so expect him to be good to go. And then as far as Jordan Clarkson at 5'6", he is listed as doubtful. So Donovan Mitchell is going to be a tremendous play on the slate today. There is no Mike Conley. There is no Jordan Clarkson. I'm going to like Joe Ingles a lot as well. Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Bogdanovich on the Utah side. All of these guys that get a lot of shots in volume, especially Donovan Mitchell at 9.2. Just going to love him. It's a tremendous spot for him. Rudy Gobert, I'm going to like a lot. Joe Ingles and Bogdanovich. Those four you can really lock in on in this game. With no Jordan Clarkson, with no Mike Conley. Expect these guys to really step up, get a lot of opportunities, and really put up some big games in this one. So I'm really going to like all of these guys. On the Washington side, you run it back with Russell Westbrook. You run it back with Bradley Beal. It's really not hard. Those are the two guys that can get the usage. I don't think you need to get cute with anyone else. They're kind of just role players around them. Take advantage of the assists and the rebounds and all that stuff that Russell Westbrook's getting, and then take advantage of Bradley Beal being kind of his wingman and keeping this game close. So, with the spread being carried away, I really have no issues with playing both of them, because if the game stays close, most likely both of them are going to have big games. If I'm leaning one, Westbrook is obviously the best option, but Bradley Beal is not priced up like Westbrook is. So, depending upon your roster construction, if you're paying up at point guard, Russ, if you need shooting guard, you can play both of these guys throughout your lineups, and I feel good about it. And lastly, Rui Hachimura at 6'3". I said don't really worry about playing these other guys, but he's the one guy I would have interest in playing. Just plays a ton of minutes, and he can definitely get you there at his price tag. Chicago taking on Memphis. This game right now comes in with a, let's see, a 229 over under, 3-point spread in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. Expected to be a fairly decent paced game. Expected to stay close. So definitely going to have some interest in this one. We got Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine on the Chicago side. Both these guys are going to have a lot of interest in. They're both getting a ton of usage. And then we got Jonas Valanciunas and John Morant on the other side. So both these pay-up options, point guard, center combination, so to speak. Like Zach LaVine's really on-ball dominant, pick and roll with Nikola Vucevic. And the same rule is going to apply for Jonas Valanciunas and John Morant. So, both of these guys on both squads making a lot of sense. Jonas Valanciunas and John Morant both having big games last night, taking on the Indiana squad in a very up-tempo game. So, like these guys again. I like Dylan Brooks and Kyle Anderson as well on the Memphis side as role players. I continue to say it, but they're the ones that are getting the most minutes and the most production. 5'9" for Kyle Anderson. He's put up 30, 40, 43, 36, and 30 DraftKings points the last 5 times out. Really staying consistent. And then Dylan Brooks, same thing, playing a lot of minutes, putting up a lot of DraftKings points. And he's my next option. 29, 38, 20, 37, and 18 DraftKings points last time out. A little bit of a dud last time. He is scoring reliant, but when he gets high, he can score real quick, and he is at 5'6". Price in the mid-5K range. You're not going to find a guy with 50-plus DraftKings points in that price range very often, and this guy literally does have it any night in, night out when he gets hot. So, Sacramento taking on New Orleans. This game right now comes in with a 231 over-under, 3.5-point spread in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. Going to be another great game environment. As far as injuries are concerned, we got Lonzo Ball listed as questionable. Josh Hart and Nickeil Alexander continuing to be out. The latest update on Lonzo Ball is that he wouldn't play Sunday. There is no recent update after that. So if Lonzo's out, really going to like Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson even more, and Eric Bledsoe. If Lonzo's in, I love all three. Zion Williamson really putting up big games the last 2 times out. 68 and 57 DraftKings points. Continues to absolutely kill it, and he gets a great matchup taking on the Sacramento squad. Same rule applies to Brandon Ingram. Really liking both of these guys on this slate today. 45 DraftKings points last time out for Brandon Ingram. Look for these guys to continue to keep it going. And then on the Sacramento side, I'm looking to run it back with De'Aaron Fox. Number one option, obviously he's priced up, but for good reason. He gets the most minutes on this team, consistently plays upper 30 minutes. So I love to see that. And then Rashawn Holmes at 7'3", with there being Zion Williamson in this game. I think they're going to need his presence. He could have a big game, an up-tempo game. And then Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield, Halliburton, the next 3 on the Sacramento side that you could be looking to. Blending these guys in your lineups, have no issues with it. Buddy Hield and Halliburton would be our, high upside scorers, but Harrison Barnes can get you there in a little bit more of a creative way with the need for him out there defensively. And then he can shoot the 3 as well. Maybe not as much of an elite scorer as these guys, but the minutes are there. So have no issues with you sprinkling those guys throughout your lineups. Denver taking on Golden State. This game right now comes in with a 229.5 over under, 3.5-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Decently paced game for sure. Good friendly environment as far as fantasy points are concerned. We got Nikola Jokic, Stephen Curry, top 2 dogs in this game, so we know who we're going to in this game if we're running it back with 2 options. It's going to be Nikola Jokic. It's going to be Stephen Curry. And Jamal Murray is listed as questionable. Kelly Oubre Jr. is listed as out. That's going to give even more of a bump up to Stephen Curry, so I'm going to like him even more. Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green are also going to receive a bump, so I'm liking these Golden State options in this one, with there being no Kelly Oubre. Feel confident. There's no James Wiseman as well. So can really lock in on Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and Stephen Curry. No issues at all. And then on the Denver side, if Jamal Murray's out, that's really going to open up some usage for guys like a Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon, and a Will Barton. Those three guys become much more relevant if there is no Jamal Murray in this one. And I have interest in all these guys regardless, sprinkling them in my lineups. But if there's no Jamal Murray, I'm just going to have even more interest. Favorite would be Michael Porter Jr. He's priced up the most, but for good reason. He has the most consistent production. 39, 34, 37, 43, and 41 DraftKings points the last 5 times out, consistently getting the job done, and still continues to be priced pretty steadily at 7K. So I do like him. Last game on the slate, Houston taking on Phoenix. This one's expected to be an ugly one as far as the Vegas lines and everything. It's a 13-point spread in favor of the Phoenix Suns, a 228 over-under. Decently paced game, but expected to blow out. Who I'm looking to in this one, you got John Wall and Christian Wood on the Houston side. Pretty clear and top options on their team that you're looking to play in your lineups. And then on the Houston side, you got Devin Booker and Chris Paul. Favorite option of those two would be Chris Paul, based upon the fact that he is more on-ball dominant. He does have more assist upside. Devin Booker is a lot more scoring dependent. I prefer to target him in matchups like really, really good matchups where I just know he can go out there and get buckets. This one doesn't really apply. Kelly Olynyk, DeAndre Ayton, you could be playing them. Kevin Porter Jr. at 6'5", continues to produce at a very high rate as well. Kelly Olynyk just getting the job done night in and night out, so I really like him. Kevin Porter Jr. at 6'5", a little more inconsistent, but he can really go out there and put up a big game any night. And there is no Eric Gordon, Daniel House Jr., Sterling Brown continuing to be out with them. So those are the guys that I'd be looking to play in this last game. And with that being said, that's my overall breakdown of this 9-game NBA DFS slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Draymond Green at the 6'7" price tag, taking on this Denver squad, who I mentioned is expected to be a close game in this one, and with no Kelly Oubre Jr. or James Wiseman, I expect Draymond to take on a much heavier role on the glass, assists, rebounds, scoring, all the above. Like Draymond Green a lot in this one. It's a 229.5 over under 3.5 point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets. It's expected to stay close, and we know what Draymond can do. Triple-double upside every single time he takes the floor. The only thing that he lacks really is the scoring piece, but we can deal with that when he's involved in all other aspects of the game, and he's only priced at 6'7". So love Draymond Green tonight, and he is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Draymond Green, get him in your lineups, and that is all for me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. And then if you are playing NBA DFS every night, I do offer a premium package, link below in the description. Check that out. You get access to my projections, my core plays, my injury impact insights, team stats, and a bunch of different spreadsheet statistics that you can really use to improve your lineups. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.